Do you know that feeling when you tell yourself, if I had enough money to afford that item, I would buy it right away, and then you get enough money to buy that item and you don't want it anymore? That is something a lot of people go through because a lot of times we desire things that we don't have or can't afford, and when we're at the point of being able to afford the item, we don't want it anymore. My name is Jess. I make personal finance content, and I'd love for you to stick around if you are interested in watching those kinds of videos. I wanted to mention that things are not bad, but if you feel like you want to stop buying things and you feel consumed by the items you're buying, then it's important to slow down or stop buying items that don't give you joy or bring you value. There are a few circumstances where tips and tricks will not help, and you actually need to talk to a therapist because some people do have compulsive buying behavior or compulsive buying disorder, and finding a therapist that specializes in that is extremely important if that is something you have, or you may be truly addicted to buying things and you just cannot stop purchasing. However, for a lot of people, we just want to change our mindset and stop buying crap that doesn't bring us joy and that doesn't make us happy. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, a lot of times we tell ourselves, I'm gonna buy this item when I can afford it. And then we can afford it and we don't want the item. I actually read somewhere, someone said, I don't want to buy a Lamborghini, I just want to be able to afford to buy one. And that makes complete sense. Sometimes we just want the financial freedom and ability to buy the things that we want, but we truly don't want those items. The issue is a lot of people do tend to buy items right the moment they want it, they can't afford it, and they get into debt. And that is, of course, not a good thing to do for your financial future. You're screwing up your financial future for things that truly won't bring you joy long term, and you'll most likely declutter. Now you may be thinking, okay, I don't want to buy things anymore. What the heck can I do? Because I don't want this anymore. I don't want to get into debt for things, and I don't want to have a bad financial future. And I completely understand. If you want to stop buying things, you need to extend the space between when you think of buying an item to when you buy the item. Now, what that means is instead of seeing something you like and purchasing it, you give yourself time in between. So you would say, I'm not gonna buy an item that I didn't have on my list for 24 hours or a week or a month, depending on the cost of the item. Generally, people that are buying more expensive items, they do give themselves more time in between to make sure it's the right item that they actually want. Also, if you are buying things on your phone and apps, delete all those apps. You don't need them, you don't need to look at them. They're just tempting and very hard to say no to if you see things that you want. So if you're the kind of person that can't say no when you see something you want it, delete the things that make you say, I want to buy this. Get rid of those temptations in your life. Don't go into stores that tempt you. Don't be tempted to buy things that you don't need. I have made a video on how to stop buying trendy items, and I think that that's extremely valuable. And I'm also repeating a few tips from that video in this video, so if you've watched both, thank you so much, but you will be hearing a little bit of duplicating tips because trendy items and regular items are both the same. You just need to not buy them. But what can you do to not buy those items? If you want to stop buying things, you need to have a goal and understand your why. Why do you want to stop buying things? Are you sick and tired of the clutter in your home? Are you sick and tired of not achieving your goals and not being able to do things you want to do in your life? Because everything is a valid reason to stop buying things you don't need. You will still buy things, you will still consume things, and consuming things is okay. But you have to be mindful and aware of your consumption and buy things that bring you value, and stop buying things that you don't need and things that won't bring you joy. So, what is your goal? What is your why? Do you want to go on a trip? Do you want to go on a vacation with your family? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to pay off your debt? You have to understand your why so that when you go to the store and you want to buy something, you say, no, because I'm saving for a house, or no, I'm not buying that candle because I have so many and my house is cluttered, or no, I am not buying that item because I want to go on vacation with my family, or I want to pay this off. There are so many different reasons, and it's important to know your why so that you can remember it when you're in those tempting situations. A lot of us don't deal well with temptation when it comes to buying things. We are tempted and we buy it. That's why so many people are in debt, because it's really hard to say no to things we want. We get a little bit of a dopamine hit whenever we see something we want and we go ahead and buy it. So it's important to steer clear from your temptations. Understand what your temptations are when it comes to shopping and get rid of them. Don't go into stores that tempt you. Don't go into apps that tempt you. And don't watch and consume content that tempts you. People are trying to make you buy things. People make money off selling you things. That is how the economy works. People want you to buy, and there's nothing wrong with buying and there's nothing wrong with spending, but it's important to know what you want to spend and buy on and prioritize that. Because if you're going to fill your house with junk that you declutter, you're throwing away thousands of dollars a year when you could be saving that money and putting it towards what you want. When you're shopping and you pick up an item you want, I want you to look at that item and say, how is this going to make me happy? And that might be a weird question to ask yourself, but truly, how is this going to make me happy? And think about, is this item going to fill a void in your life? Is this a one-of-a-kind item that you don't have in your house and there's nothing in your house that can replace this item? Because if it is, you may consider to buy it. But if it's something that truly is just another candle or another decor piece that you don't need, think logically and think clearly. And also keep your receipts, because if you want to return it, hold on to that, because sometimes we get tempted and we decide, oh no, I don't want it anymore, and you go and return it. Of course, eventually, once you realize your habits and your patterns of buying, you'll be returning things less. But if you do get into buying things you don't need, I would recommend returning things. You don't have to hold on to something just because you bought it. But the most important thing is to be mindful of the consumption and the things that we bring into our home first, so you don't have to waste your time returning things. I would recommend a low buy or no buy. I've recommended this many times, but I think it's important to have a mindset shift. And to do that, sometimes you need to do something drastic by not purchasing anything for a certain time frame, like a week or a month or a year or whatever works for you. Of course, you still pay your bills, rent, and any necessities, but it's really important to be mindful about what you consume and what you bring into your home so that you don't waste money and you value the items you have. I would recommend writing a list down of things that you want to buy and then setting a time frame. Let's say you want to buy a new jacket because you have a jacket. It could be a summer, winter, fall, whatever kind of jacket. But let's say you want to buy a spring jacket. So what you would do is you'd write down on your wish list, I want to buy a spring jacket. I want it to be within this cost, and I don't want to buy it before this date. You want to be specific and intentional about what you write on your list. Now and again, look at your list and see if you still want those things. A lot of times we'll realize that, hey, I actually didn't need any of those items. I'd recommend whenever you're writing a wish list to keep it close by. Your phone is generally with you, so digital wish lists are the best in my opinion. I know some people like pen and paper, but you want to be able to carry that wish list around. And whenever you have an impulse, you want to write it down, because if you want to stop buying things, you need to understand when you have an impulse, write down the impulse of the item you want to buy. And I'd also recommend taking a picture. I always love to take pictures, see the items that I enjoy, and I get to keep it with me forever because I took a picture, but I didn't buy it and bring it home. Another thing I'd recommend is when you're writing a wish list, write the date that you said you wanted that item and see how long it takes for you to not want that item anymore. And you can even write the date that you decided not to buy the item. Sometimes it takes our brain a few weeks to calculate the things that we truly need and want. And sometimes we get overwhelmed when we have items that we like right away and we just buy them. And we get overwhelmed and we get anxious because we have so much stuff that we bought when we could be putting that money towards something else. Like I said previously, you really want to cleanse your social media. You want to get rid of people that are telling you to buy things and that are tempting you to purchase things you don't need. And there's so many people, whether or not they're doing hauls or telling you to buy an item, just seeing them consume and purchase things will make you tempted to buy something, especially if you admire somebody. Sometimes we want the same things as the people that we admire. And there's nothing wrong with that unless it's items that we really don't need and that are going to get us into debt or put us in financial hardship. I'm not telling you to stay off social media. When you do your social media cleanse and you get rid of people that are trying to sell you things, I'd recommend refilling that with people that actually want to help you save money. Whether it's content creators that help you save money, or people that are on a low spend, no spend, or minimalist, or people that don't want to buy things. It's important to consume content that makes us better and not content that makes us want to purchase things. And there's nothing wrong with influencers that make content like that. That's their job. That's what they do. But it's important to understand that you can choose what you buy. You can choose who you follow. And if you're tempted and stressed about purchasing things because somebody is telling you that you need this item or 20 things that you need on Amazon for your best life, you don't need those items. If I ever recommend products, you don't need them. You just need to buy things that work for your life and your lifestyle, and you need to stop buying things that don't. Now, I think it's really important to switch your social media. And what I mean by that is when you cleanse your social media, you fill it with good content, because it's kind of like switching an addiction for an addiction. If you're addicted to watching social media and watching hauls, switch it for people that love decluttering and love minimalism, and listen to those podcasts, listen to those people, because the people you surround yourself with online and offline is who you're going to be. You also have to realize that a lot of times we actually don't want the items that we think we want. Sometimes we just get excited about buying new things. We don't care about the item, we just get excited about it. And a lot of times it's the anticipation and excitement about receiving the item more than actually receiving the item. So I would recommend pick your favorite store and make a cart online, like a wish list, or fill your cart with things and then just leave it. Generally, you'll be happy that you didn't buy it, and you have a little bit of excitement because you're adding things to your cart. There's a possibility that you'll buy it and then you leave it alone, and you sometimes feel relief and excitement from just doing that. Keeping yourself accountable and not spending money can be very difficult. It can be hard to stop buying things when we are constantly being marketed to and influenced and told that we need an item to make ourselves the best version of ourselves. But you have to understand you are the best version of yourself, and changing who you are within and being friendlier, kinder, or nicer is more important than filling your life with crap, because in the end, it's all crap. It's going to go to landfill and it's going to just sit there, because a lot of times we buy something that we like and we declutter it. And like I say in every single video, it's not a bad thing to buy things, but it's important to buy things that bring you joy and value and not to other people. Influencer could mention something and they could truly enjoy that item, but that doesn't mean that you will. And you need to buy things that you will enjoy and that you will value. And you need to stop buying things that you don't need. And the majority of things are just going to end up in a landfill and they're all crappy products. So you need to be very considerate about what you purchase so that you don't get into financial situations that you don't want to be in and you don't get into debt. I appreciate you watching this video. I'm hoping that these tips have helped you, and let me know in the comments below what you like to buy and what you decided is not important in your life and that you don't want to buy anymore. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stick around for more financial content. Bye!